1122, yeah. Review, yeah. Doing it again, yeah. 210s, yeah. Sorry, I won't. I promise never to rap again. I have to write it on a chalkboard like Bart Simpson. I will never rap. Um, anyway, Little Brother. We need to talk about Little Brother, because they're the only non-embarrassing post-tribe backpacker hip-hop group, and I like that style of music. The De La, the new De La, the new Tribe, the new Tip is not embarrassing. Neither is the new Little Brother. They're good. They're good conscious rap, embodying, what also like Most and Talib are doing. Uh, they're just doing very high quality. Ninth Wonder's a great producer as well, so they're doing very high quality lyrics. Phonte can sing. Phonte is a very musical rapper. His raps are like they match the beat so beautifully. There's like this beautiful melody, and there's kind of this dynamic of like, yeah, Pooh saying the more kind of like pop culture stuff, that street stuff, and then Phife saying the more poetic kind of painting like this beautiful portrait for you. It's this um, illustrative quality to it that's vivid and relatable, and you get an impression of his emotions and his thoughts. Because Phonte, when he sings, it's like a fucking D'Angelo song. When Drake sings, it's just not. I don't know. Anyway, I have to review these two albums. The Listening is maybe my favorite Little Brother album, although I think Minstrel Show is equally good. But I think me reviewing, I'm not the appropriate person to review Minstrel Show. Let's just say, a lot of my favorite albums pretend that they're radio stations. So it starts with the way a radio station would start, with the intro, and then there's like this angelic sampling and like DJ intro, and then it's Groupie Part 2 is the first real song. The beat is funky and chopped up and kind of like off key in a way that reminds me of like Earl and Odd Future are rapping over now, but it's like 2003 and people don't want the samples that weirdly deconstructed yet, and they're not into the rap singing yet. They're kind of separating the R&B and the rap more. Whereas in Little Brother, it's all together. It's all anyway. They have this integrity to them, and they're dropping like wisdom and science. They're not dropping just phony posturing. Great verse. It's got like a Mob Deepish, dark, drummy type, Alchemist type beat from Ninth Wonder. It's not fast. You would think it's fast because it's called Speed, but the rhymes are fast. Phonte goes off. I love his lyrics. I won't repeat them. I just want you to listen to the record. Whatever You Say is a great soulful love song. It's kind of like a Kanye, old Kanye, like pre-graduation Kanye type beat, like a Dilla type beat. And yeah, it's like he can sing. Phonte can sing. Well, Make Me Hot. This is what reminds me of Tribe. It's like that old jazz funk with the horn samples with singing. There's not really rapping. It's like Make Me Hot. He's just straight singing. He has a falsetto, like a beautiful falsetto voice. And then there's like a interruption, spoken rant. Then Yo Yo. They sing this melody, and the beat is strung as this three-chord sort of mystical habitat with some great verse. I don't know who the female singer is that comes in on this, but I like her voice and her addition. And great bars from Pooh, great bars from Phonte. Shorty on the Lookout returns to the radio station thing, and then you're back into like an old funky beat that's kind of more reminiscent of, the native tongues, but like updated. And it's like a game song about hooking up and fucking, but it's less like of a bragging, like, I'm too sexy for this. Like, it's less of that. It's more of like a critical kind of conscious thing about hooking up and kind of making fun of whatever. Love Joint Revisited is one of my favorites, because they trade off and harmonize on the chorus. Rappers used to... Oh my god, Big Brother does this. So few rap groups do this. Few rap groups exist anymore. But The thing I loved about like Run DMC, one of my favorite groups that got me into rap music, is that they would trade off in the verses and like finish each other's sentences and like harmonize, come together. It's a really cool dynamic, and they do that, but they do it tastefully. In like Jurassic 5, they do it so much that it sounds kind of corny and dated in like an 80s way, but they tastefully do this like back and forth. And also, this song contains the Pooh lyric, "I love Macho Man Randy Savage, screaming Elizabeth, come take a ride on my Slim Jim." Which, if I need to explain why that's great to you, you need to do your own research. They do some trade-off, like harmonizing. So Fabulous starts out with like a fucking cheesy Barry Manilow sounding presenter, and then it's this dirty stumble funk Ninth Wonder. He is truly wondrous, this ninth. And the beat evolves as it goes into this like deconstruction of samples. Again, the production reminds me of Dilla, reminds me of early Ye, reminds me of my favorite rap production. And the verses are so good. The Way You Do It was a single. It has a neat string sample beat with piano. Good verses from everybody. Not one of my favorites on the record. The Roy Lee, producer extraordinaire, is just a sketch of a radio thing playing these like 80s soul, corny sounding music and then these dark synths, and then he tells a story in character from this old producer talking shit. It's pretty funny. Then Get Up. I think these verses are just amazing out of the gate, and the beat slaps, swinging with the synth samples. The chorus again is sung. It's pretty sung like R&B chorus. Away From Me starts with a girl's voice message, and then it's a jazzy like sax based kind of like updated Tip style beat. It's a great verse from Pooh. Not to say that Tip isn't updated. I understand. We Got It From Here was very good. Tip is still kind of goat. But anyway. It sounds like a better version of Drake when Phonte starts singing To Me. It's like, oh, this is like, I get why people like Drake, because I get, if you can rap and sing well, then that's amazing. I don't think Drake can sing very well, and I don't think he writes his own verses. There's a great verse from a female MC on Nobody But You. Nice love song. And it's like realistic lyrics that are relatable. Home is one of the best sounding songs on the record to me. It's amazing. This to me could be a fucking D'Angelo song. That's high praise. I love D'Angelo. It's just beautiful soul, beautiful R&B. The beats are amazing. The singing between the girl and Phonte, harmonizing. And then Nightmare Maneuvers, I think, ends. Just Phonte dropping science. Nice melodic hook develops. The song starts as like a weird proggy, almost jazz rock at first, for like moments, and then it finds a weird bass groove, and these spacey bass lines are like a person playing the sample. It's got good verses. I don't want to just quote the verses because it'll just be corny. But anyway, this is one of my favorite rap albums. Little Brother. Listening. Another one of my favorite rap albums. And people would think it was weird to put these two together. I just wanted to do two rap albums because I listen to a lot of rap and I've been doing a lot of rap reviews. I think it feels corny to do rap reviews, to explain for like whatever, some 34-year-old white dude to explain to you like how DJ Mustard production is more influenced by Manny Fresh, and the Little Brother is more influenced by Tip. Like, nobody gives a shit. Beyond nobody gives a shit. But nobody gives a shit anyway. So, I'm running out of things to do. Other than talk about music that I actually like. Yeah, Ha, I think is one of the greatest songs ever written. I think it is the greatest rap song ever written. Because it's like, oh, the most genius thing is always just hidden in plain view. And the way that he just uses the device of ha at the end of his lines just progresses. It's like, huh. But it's also like laughing at you. But it's like making fun of you, but it's also like, huh? Like, you're doing that, huh? You're switching from Nikes to Reeboks, huh? You're doing, like, it just progresses. It tells a story of a person basically getting more involved with the drug gang, money life. It's like, oh, you know how to use a triple beam, huh? You got that fire green, huh? And then it's like, oh, I saw you on the news last night, huh? Anyway, it's just... And then the chorus is the most beautiful earworm. The verses are earworms. You just... Like, the way Juvenile raps, he comes up with, like, a rhythm, and then it's like singing. It's like he comes up with a melody or a rhythm that complements the beat. The lyrics are secondary. But his lyrics are good, but they're just often about, street shit. Manny Fresh's beats, similarly, are kind of like minimalistic in terms of just using enough synth, 808, whatever, to just like communicate the statement. They don't use samples because Cash Money's not fucking paying anybody for. You think Birdman's paying for samples? No, it's all Manny Fresh just playing these simple. But it's influenced by this this New Orleans rhythms, these New Orleans slang, that ha stuff especially. And he does the same thing on Back That Ass Up. He uses the same thing where after every verse he goes, yeah, instead of ha. It's like, out the woods, yeah, all good, yeah, good, yeah. But the thing is, if Back That Ass Up had no lyrics, if the lyrics were da 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 da, it would still be a good song. I think it would still chart if it was just ding 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 ding, and then the drums coming in, and then somebody just saying that. I guess Kanye kind of did that when he did the Scoop D. And yeah, so it's like, anyway, the way he raps, he does it again on the other thing. He comes up with like a syllabic pattern, and then he repeats that for all of his verses on Flossin' Season. And then big timers come in, so you get Birdman, you get Manny Fresh rapping, Lil Wayne going crazy, Young Wayne on this. Love the Manny Fresh verse. It's hilarious. Ghetto Children, triangle, soul, bass beat. Juvie murders it. Follow Me Now is one of my favorite songs of the record. It's like a bossa nova Spanish beat chopped up with like those drums underneath. And he raps melodies that respond to the beat. It's not spitting, it's like singing, it's like call and response. I think this is why these two are connected in my brain, even though one of them is considered kind of like commercial, kind of substanceless street rap. The other is like more obscure backpacker rap. They're both old people music at this point. Nobody gives a shit. But anyway, these two things used to be considered diametrically opposed. But what they have in common, these two records specifically, is the call and response thing, the melody thing, the like playing something that sounds good in the beat, not just I have a verse and I'm gonna fit it over your beat, which is what most people do now. It sounds like it's people who actually are they're using their voice musically. Cash Money Concert is a long sketch about trying to get into a club. It's basically just like a racist sketch about like a guy doing a Chinese voice because they're trying to get into the show for free, and then they're arguing with some Chinese guy, which is apparently really funny. And then Back That Ass Up. I can't. If you can't, I don't know. Welcome to Nalia. It's not Nala, it's Noia or Noila. Noia. Maybe it's Spanish. Again, he raps over the melody. He enunciates musically in a way that rappers do not. He sings hooks, no auto-tune. I know everybody's a perfect robot now. I want to hear your actual voice. He sings all of these hooks. Well, he has a decent voice. He was on that Brian McKnight song, Addicted, which rules. I have to link Brian McKnight Addicted. This isn't love, you're just addicted to what the dick did. UPT, one of my favorites. Wayne going off, Judy Juvie trading off bars with him over this like snake bass, bell, boingy, trash percussion. It's like some real street shit in the song. On these verses, it's like they're getting into some like details of illegal shit. 400 Degreez, I don't love. It has this kind of wacky science fiction thing that I think sounds dated in a bad way. Although Juvenile has some good verses on it. Ha Remix is fine, but I wish he just made Pa once. It's not as good as the first one, which is my favorite rap song. But it features the Hot Boys, and the beat flips. But I don't want the beat to flip. You had a perfect beat. Rich Ninjas starts with that trap beat and the rhythm synths, with the plinking, the scratch percussion. Then Wayne goes off. It's great to hear a little hungry Wayne. And then there's like a reggae guy who comes on and like reggae-fies it. Paparoo, I think. It's pretty cool. Off Top is like Juvenile's ballad. This is like Juvenile's little brother song. This is like a gangster diary of like, you know, I'm feeling bad mentally, man. I know I'm like on top of this shit, but this is the emo Juvenile. The song Juvenile's on fire. Dirty, Manny Fresh, synth funk. Juvenile uses, again, there's melodies in his verses and he sings the chorus. Juvenile on Fire is, and then there's a remix. There's a remix with